So the question on everyone's mind, or on every aspiring programming, coding, tech bro, whatever, is should you use a GPT or an AI model to code your project or to learn how to even code? Personally, I think the answer is yes. And I will explain why in this video. So let's get to it. Um, I agree that there is a difference between programming and coding. Programming is the art, like it's a creative process of structuring, design, knowing how the back end communicates with front end, knowing how to cache properly. And then there's coding, which is just the process of writing down like the HTML, the JavaScript, the TypeScript, the Rust, and that's the coding. But the program itself is just it's a much more creative process than you would like to give. And it's the whole process that makes sure your code works in production. That's what programming is, in my opinion. And I think I've heard people say it this way also. And I personally do not think because you code with a program, you code with a large language model, that doesn't mean you're as good as the language model. You're as good as just because you program with a large language model, that doesn't mean you're as good as the large language model. I don't think so. Because it's the same way in actual real life work or jobs, you're required to use Google because you're not meant to memorize every single thing. You're not meant to like reinvent the whole process of writing a linked list from scratch. You're not doing all these things. What you're actually doing is being very niche, being creative, like solving bugs. And if you can do that already, if you can already understand a program, how to read documentation properly, I don't think you should be worried about like a GPT being like extremely being your like ceiling. Instead, it should be like a propulsion vehicle for you just to get better, to skip all the pitfalls of making the same mistakes that you would just normally do. I don't think vibe coding is bad because when they say vibe coding, they mean like you're coding without knowing what you're doing. But I don't think you can even code without knowing what you're doing. If you ask Cloud to make a gaming a 3D game from scratch in any language you want, and you look at it and it generates this thing, and you just look at it like, what's it doing? You won't be able to even get that code from where it is to production. So you actually wouldn't be able to deploy that to a real life platform or get users on the platform. So that's why I'm like, vibe coding is actually for people who understand what coding is, what programming is, what system design is. They know the in and out of that program. So if they detect a bug, obviously to make you code faster and you just like maybe sometimes you get lazy and you start flowing through the process much more easier. And maybe there'll be a bug here or two. But that doesn't mean like you are necessarily just naive to the process of the LLM just producing code and code and code and code. I don't think LLMs are creative anyways. They just aggregate um, data and generate. They're like a very smart prediction prediction text prediction application. But the same way you use Google to copy and paste when there was Stack Overflow and everything, I feel like it's gonna be the same way since you're not gonna roll back the clock and say AI doesn't exist anymore. You're gonna use it, and yes, the people who are much more like experienced, more seasoned, and know exactly like little bits and tiny bits of, everything. I don't think I am there yet. I think I'm on mid-level, below mid-level, not beginner. I absolutely have gone through the hell of beginner process like in 2020. And right now I'm like just a mid-level. Like I know what my skills are, I know what my limits are, and I still use it to program like ChatGPT, and I still use Google. I read documentation. I still watch people online just to learn more. So yeah, with the like programming jobs evolve. I think everyone agrees now that yeah, it's going to evolve, but I don't think LLMs will replace anytime soon. Yeah, so use GPT for your projects. Learn to use it, and also learn to program because that's much more important than coding. And also learn to code. Honestly, we need people to review shitty code that are going out there. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe. Like, see you in the next video.